You know the cultural ideal, the perfectly frosted honeymoon phase where everything feels flawless. But sometimes that pristine setup collapses under the weight of reality. What happens when you wake up 3 months into a marriage and realize a catastrophic mistake has been made? The relationship is over, almost as soon as it began. Suddenly, you're faced with an urgent crisis. You have to figure out who moves out of the shared apartment, how to split the joint checking account you just opened, and how to physically untangle your lives. Emotionally, separating is instant, but legally, you're bound by a contract that requires the state's explicit permission to break. At this point, the first-year rule acts as a strict barrier. In England and Wales, there is an absolute statutory bar preventing you from even applying for a divorce or dissolution within the first 365 days of your union. The legislative logic behind this strict timeline is simple. Lawmakers wanted to prevent couples from making over-hasty decisions during early marital friction. So you're stuck in a legal vacuum. The state has trapped you together, refusing to dissolve a relationship that in practice has already ceased to exist. A distinct legal route exists for couples trapped in this timeline: judicial separation. Procedurally, it's remarkably straightforward. You don't need to wait for a timeline to expire, and you no longer have to prove fault. The process requires only a statement of intent that you seek to be separated. The primary legal effect is formalizing your independence. It explicitly terminates the obligation to live together, giving you the right to live apart. Furthermore, the court can regulate your finances, mandating property adjustments, dividing assets, and formalizing child arrangements without dissolving the marriage itself. It extricates you from the daily liabilities of the marriage, granting you the protective, practical remedies of a divorce, while the underlying bond remains intact. Maintaining the legal shell of your marriage does come with specific limitations. The most obvious restriction is that you are still legally wed. Neither party can remarry. There are also financial restrictions. While a judge can divide property, tools like pension sharing are off the table. Furthermore, intestacy rules change dramatically. If one spouse dies without a will, the surviving separated spouse loses the automatic right to inherit. Judicial separation leaves deliberate legal ties active in the background, serving as a targeted compromise. While this procedure is incredibly useful for newlyweds caught in the one-year trap, it isn't exclusively a loophole for early breakups. It has a vital application for older couples who might have been married for decades, but who face strict religious or deep moral objections to an absolute divorce. For these couples, a judicial separation provides a legally enforceable framework for living apart, dividing their joint assets, and protecting themselves financially, all while remaining completely compliant with their faith. A legal tool designed as a temporary pressure release valve can also perfectly serve as a permanent, lifelong destination. Judicial separation serves as a route through the restrictive first year and a permanence framework for the long term. The legal code offers a spectrum of nuanced statuses to navigate the complexities of a failing relationship. The legal system provides tools to dismantle the daily obligations of a relationship safely. It ensures structure and protection, even when the bond itself cannot yet be broken.